Engineer Mansour, are you there? Okay. If Engineer Mansour is there, the DG and ESG on the floor, please.
Thank you very much. Again, let me commend AVM Osao and his team for a wonderful presentation. Mine is to align with what Ogaya had said. And I like very much your way forward, the things that you actually brought to fore. One of the things that become very apparent and real as we do the exercise is the need for us to have significant synergies between the industry, academia, and even those in government, the triple LXC we talked about. Again, I like the emphasis on local content. I mean, you are a seasoned military person and telling us that the sophistication of even the insurgency is not that high, that if we train our people in local things around us, we can deal with it. It shows that charity begins at home. There's a lot that we can do from within ourselves to deal with the challenges that we have. So I join everyone to say well done to what you've done, and just to again say more than ever before, it reiterates the need for us to have this foundation and to ensure we put it to work and we do much more collaboration. One of the things I've always believed in is that resources might be very limited, but unless we use our resources effectively in a collaborative manner, we will not get the desired outcome. So well done, and we look forward to driving this thing to fruition. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, sir. And that's wonderful. Professor Sambo, Abubakar Sambo, you have the floor.
Yes. Thank you very much, TCT coordinator. Can you hear me now?
Clearly, sir. Clearly, sir. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
I want to join the Air Vice Marshal for an excellent presentation. He's covered all that is required. I just have two quick comments. My first comment is to do with the areas of collaboration. He mentioned that the need for lower carbon fuels, and he said he needs to collaborate with the agriculture thematic group. That's correct. But collaborate with the agri group is only to produce the feedstocks. In processing the feedstocks to produce the fuels, he needs energy specialists. And therefore, there will be need for the thematic group to also collaborate with the energy thematic group. The second point I want to raise is I heard at the very beginning, he mentioned he, at one particular time, had to engage the National Center for Energy Research and Training at ABU Zaria. That is a nuclear-based center, and the nuclear activities are under the energy thematic group. What he did those years, there's even a more compelling reason for the thematic group to link up with the energy group to take that activity to higher level. That is not discussed much more than this in this kind of forum. Very much.
Thank you very much, Prof, for your precision in making the point, and it's very clear. Kindly mute yourself. Dr. Andy Eheme, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Clearly, sir.
Very good. Well, I didn't expect less from the AVM. He delivered, and we're happy with what he's done. My concern is about what level of research or due diligence do we do in our recruitment process into the military? Because we have found out that in spite of no matter the level of or the quality of hardware you give them, the place of the human person matters a great deal. So I was wondering whether there's any way they're able to research into the background of those they recruit, especially at the officer level, because we have seen situations where these officers are a sellout. It's been said that some of them are the ones supplying arms to the insurgents, and that has a lot to do with the quality of personnel we have in our armed forces. How can research help us do proper due diligence on those we commit the security of the nations to? Because the need for armament and all kinds of hardware extremely important. They cannot be underplayed. But if you leave them in the hands of people who we don't properly know, and sometimes you may find such even infiltration from people who are non-Nigerians and into the armed forces, we get compromised in the process. So the question is, how can research, working collaboratively with some other people who are involved in population, how do we know who are in our forces and how, in what areas they are, strategic areas they are being deployed? Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Dr. Andy, for making a point for background check when it comes to exercise. I think it's across board anyway, across our security architecture, not only in the military. So can we get something done around that and conduct a robust analysis? Professor Zuru, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Doctor, for the opportunity. Let me join the previous speakers to congratulate our presenter today for very, very elaborate presentation. Let me also observe that development of science and technology, actually the military has always played the leading role. US and anywhere you take, you find that the military has played a very important role in it. And already they are charting the way here. However, I want to observe on the relationship between the defense and security in relation to pharmaceuticals and One Health. All his presentation is just to emphasize One Health, meaning that both the pharmaceuticals and One Health are treated as one, while they are different. The issue we will keep on raising is the issue of substance abuse. And when you are talking about substance abuse, addressing substance abuse, I think the pharmaceutical group will do more, will contribute more than maybe the medical reasons. So there is a need to look at these things. You also look at the nutritional aspect of it. And one of the areas of emphasis of the pharmaceutical group is the nutraceuticals and all this. And so that would be a very, very important thing for you to look at. In particular, we are also emphasizing the phytomedicine as one of the areas we do. And you know, African cultural distance, a lot of these people seem to think that they can get a lot of things that have certain kinds of impact from the trees and all these things. And these are areas that I think the pharmaceuticals will come handy. So those are the issues I want you to note. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bob, for your precision and direct to the point. And for representing your constituency very well. That is well appreciated. Can I call on Dr. Viva? Please, as we are doing all of this, Dr. Viva, you have floor now. Kindly let us do our self-introduction. We have over 75 people on this platform. Only 2-3 people have done it. Go to the chat box, just type your details so that we can actually reference you if you need be. So please, it's part of the competition for us to be on this platform. And let me say this, going forward, and for some of us, some people are disallowed to come in because we cannot allow somebody that is Techno 4 to come in, Techno 2. Kindly register your device going forward. Because of the experience we have today, we need to be more sensitive to know who we are allowing and people that can make comments. So if you are having that challenge or any of your friends are having that challenge that they are in the waiting room and I've not allowed them to come in, it's because I've not been able to characterize them. I don't know who they are. I can't allow Techno 4 or Latu, things like that. Just put 2 names, then we'll know if you are part of us. So, Dr. Viva, you have the floor.
Yeah, thank you, my coordinator, and good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you.
I want to thank the AVM for a great presentation. I know he had collaboration with my office. I just want to echo on what some other contributors have said. Security involves people, equipment, and procedure. There was so much talk about equipment. It could be the guns we have. It could be surveillance technologies. These are equipment. One of my colleagues raised people. In the nuclear industry, we have what we call human reliability, because it's a critical facility. So I think our security agencies need to look into the people they have as military, police, and so on and so forth. So the people is very, very important aspect of security, and research needs to be developed around that seriously. Looking at the fight against insurgency in Nigeria. Then another one is the procedure. Of course, operationally, if your procedures are leaked out, that has to do with people. So all these things, we need to look at the failures of our security platforms and be able to look at, okay, how do we strengthen the equipment, how do we strengthen the procedure, and how do we strengthen the people that will be involved in different levels of security. I think that's just what I wanted to highlight. But most importantly, we always forget the engineering, because we need hardware to be able to support all this, whether it is ICT, you need hardware to support it. Whether it is agriculture, you need hardware to support it. Whether it is energy delivery, you need hardware to support it. So most thematic groups, especially agri, and now the defense, they have omitted synergy with engineering, because engineering has a lot to offer to all the thematic groups. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for representing your constituency. The last sentence was very apt, and we know why that must be very important. Engineering, you cannot. In fact, I think Nigeria may have engineering department or engineering section. In fact, they have a department that has to do with that. So, but it's worth taking. Engineer Dr. Suki Dauda Sule, from, I think he joined us from the UK, from Anglo University, England. So you have the floor. Engineer Dr. Suki Dauda Sule.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for this meeting. It's a really good one. And I want to really commend Professor Bogoro for really moving things towards research and development using the TED Fund. A few quick things. The AVM mentioned that there should be, the Research Development Fund domiciled in the presidency. I just want to quickly say that indeed, what is needed in Nigeria is certainly funding that is dedicated to research and development, because the TED Fund is mostly on, infrastructure. So there's more funding that needs to be assigned to R&D in general. But in specific for security and defense, I would like to also add that. I would like to also add that while TED Fund is doing a lot, and is very commendable, the military itself has to be the primary driver. So again, he mentioned, and he's the former DG of the Defense Research Development Bureau, more funding has to be assigned to R&D in the military, because you see, you liken that Defense Bureau, a research bureau, to DARPA in the US, for instance. And I would like to say finally that while the TED Fund will be moving towards helping funding in R&D in security, like I've mentioned, the military has to really be the primary driver. So you've got to have something like what is in the UK called the Defense and Security Accelerator. You have dedicated funds for R&D in security and defense, which will have a very fast turnaround, because if you just follow the normal academic process, it will take a lot of time. So there has to be a dedicated funding, so that there'll be open calls, where anybody in the country can come up with ideas to solve military and defense problems, and then you have the specific thematic ones. And I want to mention that for the thematic ones, they have to be very specific in order to be able to have the calls be effective. So in as much as it's good to be general, be very specific in trying to solve the particular problems. And of course, they have to be grouped into short-term, medium-term, and long-term. And then finally, I'd like to add that space, I haven't heard a lot about space, but space and satellite technology is very critical for space and defense and security. And it's necessary to be integrated with, obviously, the other aerial platforms and terrestrial systems. Very, very critical. So I really encourage the committee to really look into also, stepping it up in the area of satellite systems, to integrate them with the terrestrial systems. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doc, for your comments, and I think it's worth taking. In fact, essentially, part of why we're actually having this global engagement is for us to see, to have perspective from other parts of the world, and I think it's already adding up for all of us. Thank you very much. Professor Francis Idachaba, you have the floor now. Professor Francis Idachaba, you have the floor.
Thank you so much. I want to again commend the presenter for a very wonderful and insightful presentation. I was actually typing my comments. Now, what I want to say is that when it comes to security, there is a need for everybody to be involved. Now, one of the very critical things that the ABM said was that the insurgents rely most of the time on low-tech solutions. Now, we have capacity in the country to develop solutions to counter whatever it is that they are deploying. So my suggestion to TechFund is that when it comes to security, the calls should be open, because I know as that now, private institutions have limited participation or almost no participation in the funding. So if we are able to engage ourselves, so engage those from the private institutions also, when it comes to funding for research on security, I'm sure it will go a long way and help us to also contribute to solutions to help tackle this security challenge that we currently face. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you from Covenant University. Thank you very much. Dr. J.C. Igwe, you have the floor. Dr. Suki, kindly lower your hand. Professor Idachaba, kindly lower your hand. Then Dr. J.C. Igwe, you have.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. I am most grateful. There is one thing most important that we are actually looking, not actually being emphasizing on. At the ABM, presented very well, but the area of biosecurity is very important that we need to actually look into. The Office of the National Security Intelligence. Sorry, I did not introduce myself. I am Dr. Igwe from the Department of Pharmaceutical Microbiology and Biotechnology, Kaduna State University. And I know DICOM very well, and I have been there myself. So, for this research and development to actually cover other areas, we need to bring in biosecurity and also bring in organizations in Nigeria that actually ensure that Nigeria is biosecured. Which one of them is Biotechnology Society of Nigeria and Microbiology Society of Nigeria? While we are looking at chiefs and local government chairmen, we should also look at all these private and non-governmental organizations, which in our own technical group of subcommittees, we should also carry them along. And all areas of biosecurity must be enshrined in whatever we are presenting, so that at the end, while we have finished building all the technical aspects and we forgot to build about the biosecurity of all these things, a bio substance can be enough to disarm all the things we have put in place. That is the area I want the AVM to also look at its own committees and ensure that somebody who is specialist in the area of biosecurity is also carried along and also included in all the programs. So that while we are busy producing and procuring, the advent of COVID alone has shown and opened another field of science that people should actually think about. A little or small quantity of microorganism is enough to destabilize the whole country, irrespective and shut down even the economic and socio-political activities. So this area of biosecurity, we are talking about One Health. What is the contribution and percentage of One Health? Because I saw it as a non-cutting edge. COVID-19 has actually opened another route. So with that advent, the insecurity can actually multiply if we don't look into it. I would like to stop here. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me quickly give a smart response to you, Dr. Igwe. On this platform of RDSC, like it was mentioned, we have the DG of National Biotechnology Development Agency, and other associated biosecurity platforms. What you saw about One Health that was mentioned is not just one thing. They said it comes under cross-cutting issue. Cross-cutting issue. And that has been discussed before. I hope in the future you're going to be privileged to listen to other thematic groups when they are going to be making their presentation, and you are going to see that this is well-rounded in other presentations that you're going to be looking at from One Health Group, pharmaceutical group, and possibly other related groups that has to do with biotechnology and the biosafety issue. So I think it's a...
Who are those making noise now? Who are those making noise? They can mute themselves. So I'm sorry, the speaker.
I think we will continue to do our best, and like you said, we have taken note of your points. So thank you very much. Yes, do we have other comments? I think all answers have been settled. Is there anybody that wants to speak before we make further progress?
Yeah, Dr. Pupola, let me just say a few words. My name is Mosto Anuaha.
Okay, Prof.
Dr. Viva, who is our TCT member, has said some of the things. I coordinate the engineering, and I just want to appreciate the depth of coverage of the Air Vice Marshal. And I'm particularly happy about the recommendation about the Armed Forces of Nigeria R&D centers. It's also good that he made us know that NASENI, a very important organization, and they're already working together. I assure him that the universities, engineering itself, we have a cross-cutting engagement with your subcommittee, defense, and it's particularly in the area of design of materials and production of defense tools, which we're already trying to do. I believe some of them in the universities, I'm familiar with some of the things that are being done and can be fabricated. And I'm particularly interested that you people are already doing things at home. As a young man, I saw this work. When we were in trouble in the Civil War, I fired rockets that were locally made. And I know that these things can be done. So in our universities, you already have those centers that will work with you. There are certainly things we shouldn't be ordering again from outside, from Korea or Iran or anywhere. We can do them together with the defense industries and so on. I believe so. So I think we're on the right track, and your interaction with various is showing. And I believe the Armed Forces of Nigeria need those R&D centers, and they need to work very closely with particular institutions and organizations. I'm sure we'll achieve and the R&D foundation, when it comes up, will be able to take care of much of what we're talking about. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof. I think I'm seeing the other side of you today, being a civilian military man who has fired rocket before. Professor Mostos Onoha is the coordinator for our engineering thematic group under the RDAC and the immediate past president, Nigeria Academy of Science. Thank you very much, sir. It's a pleasure. Professor Solomon, former Director General and National Technical Development Agency, and a Professor of Chemical Engineering or Obafemi Awolowo University. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you very much. This is very interesting. And one aspect that I was really very, very pleased with was the kind of reverse engineering which the Air Force was able to bring in, especially maintaining some of these the jets. Now, there was a time when some of our Hercules aircrafts were to be flown to France, for some kind of maintenance. And we were in a meeting, actually at Raw Material Research and Development Council, and there was an alarm by the chairman who said the US had already planned to bomb the aircraft if they should move from Nigeria. Of course, they had to quickly intervene and stop. And later, I found out really in Israel, there is nothing wrong with you doing reverse engineering. They do it routinely on any equipment that they can get. And I think that should be institutionalized, especially with our military infrastructures, so that whatever we have, we should create a reverse engineering component so we can produce and even improve on what has been done. So I'm very, very happy with that particular component, and I hope we can push it on and further make it a routine. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Prof. And I think to the pool of things that has to be done to fix the security sector, we are glad to have you. Professor Omesekba, that's Director of ICT TBU. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, coordinator.
Right, sorry, Prof, before you continue, please kindly let us introduce ourselves in the chat box, like I mentioned. I have a number of people that have responded, but not able to actually introduce you properly, and we won't have a database of people that are here to attend. Let's fill in that in our chat box. You have the floor, sir.
Okay, this year, can I just do that? Now that I have the floor, I will do that just immediately after I finish.
No problem. No, not only you. I'm talking to people generally. So you can do it after
okay.
after I speak, sir. Okay.
Thank you very much. I want to congratulate the AVM for a well-presented outline, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, like everybody else has said. And I want to say also that I'm aware that the Air Force, in particular, and the Nigerian Army, collaborate with plenty of higher institutions. So, like he emphasized, like the AVM emphasized, what is actually needed now is a body to thoroughly coordinate research efforts across our institutions. And that underlines the need for the NRDF. So I support him in the call for the establishment of the NRDF, and as the earlier the better, so that all these efforts that have been done in silos can be coordinated for the national good. Thank you very much for the opportunity. God bless TED Fund. God bless RSDC. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you. Ambassador Professor Mohammed Makarfi, I saw you. I don't know if you want to speak, sir. Ambassador Ahmed Muhammad Makarfi. Oh. Okay. Prof, are you willing to speak?
He needs to unmute. He wants to speak. He needs to unmute.
Unmute yourself, sir. Just press unmute. You can unmute yourself. I've asked you to unmute.
Hello.
Hello, Prof.
I can't link up.
We can hear you now, sir. No, we can hear you.
Can you hear
now.
me?
We can hear you now, sir.
Well, thank you, Doctor. I think we are aligned once again. What we advocated for is what we look forward to. Thanks for all the support we have been getting from the stewardship of the TED Fund towards realizing the National Research and Development Foundation. We hope that our expectations, especially on funding, will be seriously looked at. 1% of GDP, for instance, translates into a figure which every one of us can imagine. But the ways we are going to put this together is what is questionable. I hope we will look at that before we finally package this for the National Assembly consideration. The sources of this must be very clear. We should be very explicit on how we can gather these resources to facilitate the effective takeoff of the National Research Foundation. Mr. Dr. Ayo, thank you so much for the opportunity to make this contribution.
Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate you. We can see that you're on the road, and we can actually value your extra commitment to be with us.
Okay.
We wish you the very best in your assignment, your new assignment in Brazil. And thank you very much, sir. Do we have other people that want to speak before we're going to invite the ES Debt Fund to declare this news, and we're going to invite the Director of R&D to make comment. To actually give us foot of fund. Those are the two items we have now. But always give everybody opportunity to speak, please. If anybody that want to speak again, I will give you your answer. Engineer Joseph Ajayi, are you trying to speak? The network has been terrible. I can see you stopping. Dr. Suki, do you want to make more comments?
Yes, please. I just wanted to add that please don't.
Dr. Suki, you want to unmute yourself. Unmute yourself if you can hear me.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you before.
Yes, thank you very much. Just add on a lighter note that that please also kindly remember to please add young people in this great initiative, because I know I'm one of the very young people around here. Almost most people here are my seniors by far, and I think it's really great. But it's also good, I would just appeal, that this initiative should also carry a lot of young people. Because a lot of those talents and skills that we're talking about in terms of technology development and innovation, building those systems, they are the ones that will be right at the forefront of it. So it would be good to kind of interface with the younger generation as well in just maximizing this initiative. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you very much, Doc.
Just to contribute a bit, I thought it was a great presentation that the AVM made. My comment would be that in making collaboration with partners, I think the word strategic collaboration is key. Because, for example, in the industry which we cover in our own platform, the petroleum industry, they are going through quite a lot now, vandalization and so many other things. So if you have strategic collaboration with such people, with such groups, I'm sure officers who handle security.
Engineer Ajayi, what you can do that will make it more clear. Hello, Engineer Ajayi. Engineer Ajayi, kindly type your comments in the chat box, please. Engineer Ajayi. Thank you very much. You can type it in the chat box. You missed a lot of your comments because of the network. Kindly type it in the chat box. Professor Kala, the facilitator, this is the facilitator in charge of defense and security. Kindly make sure that you take note of everything in the chat box that are useful, so that you can address them as appropriate as possible. Professor Palawale Albert.
On that. Thank you.
All right. Professor Isaac Palawale.
Well, I just want to observe that your questions and reactions have shown that the core objectives of this presentation have been achieved. What we sought to do in this presentation is to throw as many pebbles as possible into the pool to enable all of us know, all the thematic groups, know that security management is the business of everybody. Therefore, as each of us
identified what our respective thematic groups could contribute to the management of the security of this country. I think those of us in this thematic group felt that, yes, we have attained the goals of our presentation. Now, I think beyond this presentation and beyond today's meeting, what is expected is for all of us to start thinking about how to collaborate to help this country get out of the many problems it is facing. Today we are discussing security. After this presentation, I expect us to continue the conversation. And the conclusion of this group is to say that the management of the security problems of this country should not be left to this thematic group alone. All of us to come up with fresh ideas on how we could collaborate to save this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your comments, and it is well taken. Thank you very much. Professor, the chairman of RDSC, I can see your hands up. Professor Katsama, do you have more comments, sir? Your hands is up. Kindly unmute yourself, sir. Unmute yourself, sir, so that we can hear you. We are not hearing you. Unmute yourself. Brother, kindly unmute yourself, sir. Professor Katsama. We cannot hear you, sir. Can you unmute yourself? Wow. Can you unmute yourself? Can you unmute yourself, sir? Unmute yourself.
From his presentation,
okay, sir, we can hear you now.
You could see the emphasis this great lecturer has projected, that we Nigerians are very capable and that we cannot expect other people to secure our security. We must do it ourselves. And honestly, this lecture emphasizes a lot of things, particularly the fact that whatever we do, we must establish this National Research and Development Foundation. It's very, very important. Secondly, in emphasizing the greatest of Nigerians, we must ensure that the linkage, as Professor Zuru has said, must be specific. For example, the linkage between environment and defense and security is obvious. And yet, we must see where environment and, for example, housing is linked. But environment and bioresources and pharmaceutical, that is a better natural link. The one thing I've observed as a chairman is that the commitment of individual members is fantastic. For example, look at His Excellency Mahmoud, ambassador in Brazil. He's still functioning, he's still cooperating, he is still contributing, even with his very high office in Brazil. This is fantastic. We appeal to our diaspora people to show more commitment. They are committed, but they have to be visible. and I appeal to us all Nigerians. Nobody will project Nigeria but us. And in fact, I'm disappointed even in media. The media are not projecting Nigeria as such. It's just reporting negative, reporting negative. Report positive things about Nigeria. If we Nigerians don't project Nigeria, who is going to project Nigeria for ourselves? And therefore, I thank the presenter who has done very, very well, and I thank the thematic group that has done very, very well. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, Omar. And I think, like I usually say, we continue to count on your
thank you, sir.
Your inspiration that we get from you every day and every time. And I think at this point, for us not to take much of our time, I'll call on, I'm going to pass a message, and at the same time, I'm going to make some announcements while I wait for Dr. Sali Bakari Gire, Director of R&D and Center of Excellence State Fund, to make his comment and give vote of thanks on behalf of the fund. While I'm awaiting to be admitted, we are still working to see that it's connected because it's not in country too. So the first thing I would say is that the ES of State Fund and the convener of our DSC, who ordinarily supposed to declare this one open, has sent his apologies that while away Paris where he has a very brief meeting he needs to go into now. He said I should convey his special thanks to the presenter, that later in the day today my actually needs to speak to personally thank the presenter for a wonderful presentation and acknowledge the beautiful work that has been done by the entire thematic group. After saying that, he said I should appreciate everybody that has participated in today's engagement, those ones that are members of RDSC and those that are not members, for their wonderful time they have committed to this, and it's eternally grateful to everybody to be part of this journey. So that is the message from the ES. It was here until like about 5 minutes ago that he needs to leave for that meeting. Number two is that the next session for this, our engagement series, the Vikmap on the Vikmap, that is the virtual innovative knowledge management platform of State Fund, where we are hosting the global engagement series. The third one will be on the 1st of June. And it's going to be featuring another topical issue, which is going to be the energy thematic area. We're going to be looking at energy. You know, we started with food. Now we discuss security. We are moving on to energy. So 1st of June is going to be the date, and then we expect everybody to book on. I'm saying and I'm announcing this because there are a lot of people that are not part of our the RDSC, and they have been asking when next. So I think it is better that people are informed, and you can actually drop your phone number and your email address in the chat box, so that if the need be that we need to invite people, we'll invite people that we know, so that we will not be experiencing the kind of acting that we had today. Then, for all of us, kindly let us label our devices going forward, so that if it is only 2 names or 1 name, our designation and 1 or 2 other names, let us know the people, because going forward we are going to be using this method of admitting people one by one, so that we need to learn from our experience. Last time we knew the experience we had a capacity of just 100 people. Today that we expanded it to 500 people, and we allow people to come in, particularly when we are discussing the issue of security. We knew the kind of experience we had again. So by next one, we are going to improve on that. Apologies to everybody that might be disemphasized, because we need to actually up our game in making sure that, yes, we are placing one by one. We'll continue to do that. And lastly, I will now call on Dr. Gire. Dr. Gire, have you joined us? Because you said you got disconnected. because of our time, it's not in. Let me call on the sitting in ears, the Director of Physical Infrastructure, to give a vote of thanks on behalf of the fund. That is Madam Buhari Mikailu. Madam Buhari Mikailu, kindly give vote of thanks on behalf of that fund for this section. Madam Mikailu, you have the floor now. Are you there? Madam Buhari. Madam Buhari, are you on the floor? I saw you when you are coming in. Okay. If that is not, if he's not around, let me call on Mr. Kolapo Okunla to ask for Dr. Giri in giving vote of thanks on behalf of the fund. Mr. Kolapo Okunla is the Acting Director of Educational Support Service Department of Tech Fund. So please kindly go ahead.
Thank you very much, the TCT Director. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, Tech Fund, on behalf of our dear Executive Secretary, Professor Suleiman Elias Bogoro, the entire management of Tech Fund, we want to say a big thank you to every members of the RDSC. We want to appreciate sincerely the presenter of the thematic group on defense and security and every member of that group. We appreciate you for the wonderful presentation, the well-robust paper presented, and the contribution from every member that has participated in this program. We sincerely look forward to see you in the next presentation in June. Thank you very much. We sincerely appreciate you.
Thank you very much for that, and I think it has been a wonderful time for us today, and we'll continue to do our very best to make sure that, yes, we hit the bar. Like I mentioned, the next section will be for us to be talking about energy. On behalf of everybody, starting from the Executive Secretary of Tech Fund and the entire management of Tech Fund, let me say thank you to everybody. The leadership of RDSC, led by Emeritus Professor Gatsama, the coordinators, deputy coordinators, members of RDSC, especially members of the Defense and the Security Thematic Group, and staff of Tech Fund. We say thank you, and we hope to see you during our next section. We appreciate your time, and we make sure that share the information to the best of our knowledge. For AVM Osama, I want to say thank you, and I know many of the things people have discussed are actually comments, so that's why we didn't ask for more response from you. So it's essentially for you to enrich the report that you have, and we hope that we are going to do this again and again until when we have some level of perfection in the whole process. Thank you very much, Mr. Kolapo, for representing Dr. Giri, and for the vote of thanks that you have given on behalf of Tech Fund. On behalf of all of us at TCT Secretariat and all other people that have been in support, especially the Acting Director of ICT in Tech Fund, who has provided a platform. And we are able to switch over despite the hackers within a short period of time, in person of Mr. Joseph Odo. Thank you very much for that, and I think collaboratively we are going to be moving things from one point to a higher level. All the TCT members that are on board today, I appreciate all of you for hooking up. We say thank you. Staff of Tech Fund, we say thank you. Our media group, AD4, Radio Nigeria, all of you, gentlemen of the press, thank you very much, and we hope to link up with all of you thereafter, and in the next 2 weeks, 1st of June precisely, we are glad to host you again, where we're going to be discussing the energy sector in this country and see how we can institutionalize R&D. Thank you very much, and from all of us, we say thank you and bye-bye for now. Good evening, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Popola.
Thank you very much, Dr. Reynolds.